What we're going to learn today is how to draw an object using these 3D boxes that we've been developing over a little while. You'll notice I've got my vanishing points off the page now, because I really feel that when we had them on the page, it was just too tight for us to get any sort of decent size object. So by moving my vanishing points further away, it gives us a little more space on the page. Essentially, it makes the page really big. All right, so we're going to do two objects in this, and taking on the theme of Christmas, we are going to do a little toy car and a Christmas tree ornament, like for a Christmas tree. So first off, you're going to start off with a box. There's my first line off to vanishing point number 2, and then off to VP2, and then off to VP1, and off to VP1. I'm going to say the car is going to be about this wide, and this goes off to VP2, and then the car is going to be about this long and goes off here. So as you see, when I was saying that I think the car is going to be this long, I am judging everything. I'm kind of going, well, based on the height and the width, it's going to be this long. So it starts getting into you looking at the drawing and thinking, what am I going to draw and how is it going to look? Okay, here's the next trick. So firstly, just for the moment, ignore this backspace and just think about this side space here. So I'm doing a car, so it's going to be like a real kiddie car, and I'm going to draw on here the kind of shape of this toy car. All right, do you see that? So I've drawn that on just one side. Do you see? And then maybe down here I'm going to draw two little squares. Obviously the bottom will go to my vanishing point, top here to the vanishing point, and this will become my wheels. Now we all know that wheels are not square, so you recall that we have in the past rounded corners. So if I took a square and made it across like this, I could then round this corner and round this corner and round that one and round that one. And now I have a perspective circle. Again, I'm going to come here and here, and this one goes up to that top, and then it comes over to there. Okay, so I've got my basic wheel shape. I can then put the line in across here. And for the purposes of this car, I'm going to round all the corners. Now, you know that with slicing, that we now take this point here to our vanishing point, this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. So now we've got that car shape, but we've now got, well, this is my vertical, so it goes to there. Then it goes horizontal or to the vanishing point. Then now this is the bit that's going to get you, is that line there for the windshield, I'm going to simply join that up there, but it's parallel. These two should be parallel. And then the car comes along here and then back, and then we kind of lose it behind there. Now, if I just take out the box a little bit, because it's quite dark, don't need to see all of that, and this line here and that line there. Now, before we have rounded objects, so this is what we're going to do today. We're going to take all of these corners and we're going to round them, and round that one, round that corner. You know, because this is not a real car, it's just a little sort of silly car for a Christmas tree ornament. All right, and then round this one, round that one, and then I can join up the lines so I get my little dinky car shape. Now this would be suggested lines across here. That would be a final line. And then we've got a little bit of the car. We could also kind of go, okay, well, this is the front and back, and then, you know, we've got the sides here. Now, if I take a pencil now, maybe a, what's this, an H, I could then start shading in the side. And this is my dark tone. And you remember, done this before, where we shade over the object, and we don't really care because we can go back with an eraser. Now my wheels I'm going to make darker, and this is where we start getting into the, you know, we're now shading an actual object as opposed to just a shape. So we want things to look different. You know, we're going to shade things to be appropriate. So the windows here, I'm not going to darken as much because I'm not wanting it to be as dark. Okay, and here. So you see we can sort of slowly start building this object, and of course a little bit of shadow under there and a little bit of shadow under there, showing that bottom part to the wheel. All of these little effects make it look so much more real. All right, then I have over on this side, this would be my mid-tone. So it won't be as dark as my dark tone. There's my mid-tone. And again, you can kind of keep going over, and because it's rounded, I could even shade a little bit of the bottom of it just to give it that sense that it curls over underneath like that. Okay, then I go back with my eraser, take out my overruns, and we're beginning to look pretty good. Okay, this is the front windshield. It's going to be light, even lighter than the other one, and that's pretty much it. I can obviously keep going and embellish it some more, but I've now got a little Christmas tree ornament that looks like a funny little car. To make it an ornament, what I might do is add in a little circle here, and then the rope for it, just to sort of give it that impression that it's that. Okay, so did you see first? Let's go through the steps. Created the box, drew the object on one side of the box, then kind of extruded it out by taking these lines across to the other side, used some parallel lines and joining up of lines, and then created the object. Okay, let's go for a slightly more complicated box or object. So this one, I'm going to do a Christmas tree. Now this one, again, the line, actually I'm going to just move this up a little bit so that you can see that. Here's the bottom line, goes to my vanishing point. I want the Christmas tree to be about this tall. This will go to my vanishing point. And then based on the height, I can then judge the width of the object. Okay? And then this is my depth of the object. Obviously these go to the vanishing point, and it goes like that. Now, as you all know, a Christmas tree is a triangle. So I'm going to choose a point in the middle, and then I'm going to draw a line from the bottom up to here and down to here. Do you remember how we drew the side profile of the car? I'm now going to draw a Christmas tree just in this plane here. So this is quite a long straight line, so I have to kind of move my paper, but I'm going to draw all the way up to there and twist my paper a little more, and it goes from here to here. Now, a Christmas tree, in a sort of cartoon sense of this, has kind of branches at different levels as it goes up, right? So I'm going to draw some lines here going to my vanishing point, and they're going to go here and here, and these will all be the same kind of going to that vanishing point. Now, Christmas trees have a kind of an indent, so I'm now going to come up to here, I'm going to come across here, and I'm going to go up to here, up to here. Do you see how I'm creating this Christmas tree using this kind of fairly standard pattern? Okay, this one comes down here, I come back in, it curves to that side, comes in, curves to that one, in, and then the bottom will be a straight line. So do you see on this plane here, I have now drawn my Christmas tree just by using a grid of like, okay, it's a big triangle first, and then I start stepping it in. Now, I am then going to draw this to the vanishing point, and now I have a point here and here that I could take a line up to. Let's try and do it clean. And that's the width of my object. But this goes to the vanishing point, that one, that one, that one, and lastly that one. So this one's straight, but this one matches this curve. So it goes up like that. Then this one goes up, but it sort of goes underneath it so we don't see it all. Like that, and like that. Now we have a 3D Christmas tree. Now, back into shading. Let's take this side here. This is our dark tone. So I'm going to shade this whole section down here. I could, of course, use a green pen for this. That might be a better use. And we can start using color in our designs too. Now I'm going to go around with my eraser and get rid of my overspill. Here and a little bit here. Now here comes the fun bit. So on the side here, remember last week we were looking at shadow. So on this one, what we can do is it could be darker under here, and it could then graduate to a light tone. How cool is that? And then we'll do that again. And it will graduate to a light tone. And again. There. And the last one. And then this one would be just a mid-tone. Okay. Then I erase these lines here. My overspill. And because it's a Christmas tree ornament, I need to have a little hole here. I could shade in, and then there would be my rope that would hang on the tree. I can go in and I could spend more time making these more perfect and so on. Now it might need some ornaments on it, so I could even go in and make some dots perhaps for ornaments, like those hanging glass balls on it. And I could go in with maybe even a different color if I wasn't using a regular pencil, and I could shade these in and have a bit of fun with that. Okay, so there are my two Christmas tree ornaments. Just remember the system of drawing the object on that front face first and then extruding it to the other side of the object. We can obviously get more complicated, but this is the way to start.